यहाँहरु सबैलाई हाम्रो नमस्कार। हामी बुढाबुढी आज सेन्ट्रल लन्डनलाई एक्सप्लोर गर्ने भनेर घरबाट हिँडिसकेका छौँ। तर त्योभन्दा पहिला मेरो अफिसमा 1.25 घण्टाको काम परेको हुनाले त्यहाँ पुगेर कामलाई सिद्ध गरी फेरि फर्केर चाहिँ सेन्ट्रल लन्डन पुगेर चाहिँ सिटी सफारी बसको छतमा बसेर लन्डन एक्सप्लोर गर्नेछौँ। त्यतिखेर चाहिँ केही दृश्यहरू, वरिपरिका दृश्यहरू, देखेका कुराहरू मोबाइलमा कैद गरेर भिडियो बनाई युट्युबमा चाहिँ अपलोड गर्ने हाम्रो योजना छ। र यहाँहरूलाई हाम्रो आग्रह, हाम्रो युट्युब च्यानल सब्सक्राइब गरिदिनु होला, हेरिदिनु होला र प्रतिक्रिया पनि दिनु होला भन्ने निवेदन गर्दछु।
Nice frontage on it. You'll be able to see the two flags on the top of the station as we go past. And right on top is a lady with a funny hat on. She's called Britannia, and she's a symbol of Britain. You might see her on lots of public buildings in the city. Get your cameras ready, because in a little while there's going to be a really great photo opportunity. It's an image of Big Ben inside the London Eye. So just on the left-hand side, beyond where the concrete building is, there's a shot of Big Ben inside the London Eye. I'll point it out to you, I'll tell you when. It can be quite easy to miss, so would recommend taking a picture of this one. It is quite special. So here we go, front of the bus, just heading towards it. Big Ben inside the London Eye, on your left. Very nice.
Oh, look at that.
The London Eye's even lit up for us. Just for us, very special. Okay, so we're heading over Waterloo Bridge. It is a very exciting bridge, lots of nice things to see inside. On the left-hand side, you're going to get a nice view of the London Eye and the Houses of Parliament. Coming up, this is a really historic part of the city. 1,000 years of parliamentary history. There's been a parliament on this site since around the 1000s. Well, it's very Londony, that. Please do make sure to be careful when standing. Try not to stand on the bus as much as possible. There you go, isn't that lovely? So that's 1,000 years of British history. And on the right-hand side, you've got even more history. This side is 2,000 years of London history. This is the old Roman centre of the city. This is Londinium. You can see the dome of St Paul's Cathedral, lots of the skyscrapers, the walkie-talkie, the gherkin. We're going right up towards St Paul's on the next leg of our tour. In Roman London, all very exciting. Yeah, that is the Savoy Hotel. It's quite a fancy London hotel. Yeah, pretty high ticket. There's quite a lot of hotels on like this centre, but that one is the Savoy. So yeah, so you've got ice skating here in the winter time, and in the summer it's a really good place to come and see a concert. They've got lots of live music events here in Somerset House. The area that we're heading into now is Covent Garden. This is in the West End. There's lots of theatres in this area, lots of covered shopping areas, and lots of places to get a bite to eat. It's one of my favourite parts of the city, a really nice place to explore on foot. If you've ever seen a film called My Fair Lady, the main character Eliza Doolittle sings "Wouldn't It Be Lovely" here in Covent Garden. It's the historic flower and fruit and vegetable market in the city, and the old flower market is now a covered shopping area. And here you go, you might be able to spot the Lion King just from the left of the Lyceum Theatre. Lots of different musicals playing. You've got Mamma Mia just up ahead. Oh, and lovely Christmas lights as well. Honestly, you've really picked the right time of year to come to London because you get all the nice lights this time of year. Really, really brilliant. So there you go, follow me and play with the developed data. Oh, lovely Christmas decorations in the Waldorf Hotel. I like the look of that Christmas tree. I want one of them for my front room. It's really lovely. We'll be stopping just outside Tina Turner the musical. I've not seen it. It's meant to be really good. I had a friend who went to see it and she really liked it. I think Tina Turner died recently. Really sad. I like Tina. She does, what she did, Proud Mary. I could sing it for you. I won't inflict that on anybody at this stage. So there you go, you've got Bush House on your right, the home of the BBC World Service. And just to your left, you've got the LSE building. LSE is a London university specialising in economics and history and business. Lots of famous ex-students, including Hillary Clinton, who was a presidential candidate in the US a few years ago. So this is a really fun street. This is Fleet Street. It's used to be the hub for journalism in the city 40 years ago. Lots of the journalism buildings, lots of the papers have moved out to Wapping in the east of the city. But keep an eye out on the tops of the buildings as we go down and look out for clocks, because this street was the centre of journalism and the journalists had to know what time it was to get the papers out. So, on your left hand side you can see this big building that looks like a cathedral. This is the Royal Courts of Justice. This is a civil court in London, and it's where the divorce of Charles and Diana happened, and also where the divorce of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard happened slightly more recently. So yeah, the second half of that divorce settlement inside the Royal Courts of Justice.
Wow. Court of Justice.
Fleet Street is a street of journalism for sure, but it's also, I think, a really good place to go for a pub crawl when you're in London. Lots of really fantastic old historic pubs to enjoy. Look out on your right hand side, there's a skinny white pub with black detailing on it, the Old Cock Tavern. This is the skinniest pub in London. You can get the skinniest drink in the city just on your right hand side here. It's an old gin palace, which means it's got really ornate, beautiful interiors. Again, keep an eye out for clocks as we go along Fleet Street. The street is named after the old river that used to flow along here, the River Fleet. The Thames is the only river in London. There's actually 7. Many of them have been redirected underground. Look left around the first floor level and you'll see a white lantern above a pub, being slightly blocked by the English T-bus, unfortunately. But just to the left, there's a white lantern that reads the Old Cheshire Cheese. This is a really historic London pub. It was built in the 1600s, but if you'd come here in the 1800s, you might have run into a certain Mr. Charles Dickens. It was a favourite haunt of the famous writer, and he used to sit on the first floor of the pub trying out his novels on the fellow drinkers. So you might have caught a little bit of David Copperfield or Oliver Twist if you'd have visited the Old Cheshire Cheese in the 1800s. I think when you're in London, the best way to see the city or see the historic city is pubs and churches. So, the hill that we're riding up now, this is Ludgate Hill, and the bus is actually following in the footsteps of Lady Diana Spencer on her wedding day in the 1980s. If you remember that glass and gold carriage and that fantastic puffed sleeve wedding dress. This is where Diana rode up to St Paul's Cathedral, which some of you might have already spotted out ahead of us. The traditional place for royal weddings is Westminster Abbey, where Charles and Diana were married at St Paul's because of the sheer number of people that they wanted to invite to their wedding. 35,000 in all, which is pretty spectacular. We've got a stop here by St Paul's, so if you'd like to jump out and explore the cathedral further, this is a good one. If you'd like to go to the Tate Modern, this is also a good stop. Oh, listen to the ringing. This is the thing about London, there is churches everywhere. This cathedral that you see ahead of you, St Paul's, this is actually a 1600s rebuild of a medieval cathedral that burned down in the fire of 1666. The black steps leading up to the cathedral. If you've seen a film called Mary Poppins, this is where Mary sings a song, "Feed the birds, tuppence a bag." The cathedral was built by famous architect Sir Christopher Wren after the original medieval cathedral was burned down in 1666. Here's a lovely Christmas tree on the right hand side. Honestly, you'd pick the best time to come to London. Lots and lots of ringing. I'll just let you listen to it sometimes, it's atmospheric.
Make a few.
So a really lovely photo opportunity behind you of St Paul's Cathedral. Get a really nice shot. Atmospheric, they've lit it up this evening for us. The cathedral was actually was bombed quite heavily during the Blitz in the 1940s. But the dome was saved by firefighters in the city, although many of the surrounding houses and buildings were lost. The low-hanging branch is actually just it's if you look between the Shake Shack and the Cafe Nero just to your left-hand side, you'll see Bow Lane. This is an insight into medieval London, everybody. Really beautiful, winding, narrow street. And we're heading deep into the ancient city of Londinium here, very, very ancient part of London. Just to your left-hand side, this sandy coloured building, the Bloomberg building. This is Cannon Street Station. It's a popular commuter station for people coming to work in the city of London. But 2,000 years ago, would have been a Roman governor's palace. That's the site. So it's a very mixed area of the city, very new, very sort of corporate and entrepreneurial, but also built on the site of London's ancient foundations. So, just to the left-hand side, as we pass along, look slightly beyond where this roadwork is, just on your left, and you'll see a tall column with a golden ball at the top. This is the monument just here on the left-hand side. It's a monument to the Great Fire of London, built by Sir Christopher Wren. You can climb to the top of it. The golden ball represents the flames that engulfed London in 1666. This is Tower Bridge. It's all lit up mirrors, which is very exciting. We've got here at just the right time. And this is a bridge that has the opening to ships to come through. Tall ships can go through the centre of the bridge because the two levers open up. And this still happens about 3 times a week. It takes about 19 minutes for the bridge to open up to allow a big ship through. So we're in an area of the city called Southwark. We're on the south side of the River Thames here, and for a long time Southwark was a separate city to London. It had slightly different laws to the City of London, which made it a bit of a party capital in the 1500s and 1600s. It was much easier to drink, to gamble, to go to the theatre. We're on the south side of the River Thames, and this was the docking area of the city for many years. London is of course a port city, and lots of ships would come in delivering goods from all over the world. Just to the left hand side you've got Hayes Galleria, this sandy coloured building, and this was one of the warehouses back in the day where all of the dry goods would be stored from all over the world. I think it's a shopping centre now, but it used to be a warehouse. We were talking earlier about the Great Fire of London. There was also a fire here in 1861, the Great Fire of Tooley Street, which is the street that we're riding along. And on the left you've got this red brick building, and this is Tooley Street Fire Station. It's a restaurant now, but it was the first fire station built in London to stop any such devastating fire happening again. If you like Charles Dickens, the famous author, he used to come for walks around here. This is the site of a notorious Victorian slum, a place called Jacob's Island, and this is where Bill Sykes' den is in Oliver Twist, so Dickens based lots of the settings for his books on the housing conditions here in Southwark. Just behind you, you've got a really lovely view of the Shard in London. It's a mixture of flats and office buildings. There's also a restaurant at the top. I'm not sure I'd get on with that particularly well. I'm quite scared of heights. But if you're brave, it could be a nice place to grab a meal. See all of the lights in London coming on just there to your left hand side. You can actually do a walk over the, please do be careful of standing up, try not to, but hold on tight. You can actually do a walk between the two towers of Tower Bridge. If you look up on these walkways, you might see some people walking along the top potentially. I don't know if they're, oh yeah, there you go, you can see them doing their Tower Bridge walk. Again, I will be terrified, I'm scared of heights. So you might have spotted it already, just to the left hand side, you've got the Tower of London. This is an ancient fortress, almost 1,000 years old, so it's properly historic. If you notice where the green grass is outside the fortress, this is where the moat would have been to the palace by river. They've built a kind of embankment to stop the water getting in now, but yeah, you would have been able to approach the palace by water. It's the home of the crown jewels in London. You can go to the Jewel House in the Tower of London to see lots of the king's bling, lots of his crowns, his sceptre, his orb, and various famous jewels such as the Star of Africa and the Koh-i-Noor diamond. In the 1600s, they were introduced by Charles II, king at the time, and it's believed that if the ravens ever leave the tower, both the tower and London itself will fall. So, pretty exciting stuff. Right, you've got a lovely view of the tower from this angle, but the hill that we're rising up now is called Tower Hill. The Tower of London was the site of many gory executions throughout its history. Henry VIII's second wife, Queen Anne Boleyn, had her head cut off inside the tower, but you only got executed in the Tower of London if you were high status. The hill we're on here, Tower Hill, was the site of the executions where people were hung, drawn and quartered. This was reserved for the most terrible crimes. Victims of this punishment include William Wallace of Braveheart fame and Guy Fawkes, instigated the Gunpowder Plot. To your right hand side there's a brown pub called the Hung, Drawn and Quartered. You can see the gold lettering above the door. This commemorates this grisly method of execution. Being hung, drawn and quartered involved being hanged by your neck, having your guts pulled out and being cut into 4 pieces. So really nasty stuff. Just to your left-hand side, this beige building with all the windows, this is the old Billingsgate Fish Market. This is where all the fresh fish came from in London. They say that the fish was foul, but the language was fouler. The stereotype of swearing fishwives comes from Billingsgate. Quite a rough and ready place to work, by all accounts. The Nursery Rhyme London Bridge is falling down. It comes from Viking times, when the bridge was pulled down in 1014 by King Olaf in order to stop King Canute from invading the city. There's lots of competing ideas about where the myth comes from. London Bridge is falling down, but that's one of them. Brown building with the big tall tower. This is the Tate Modern Art Gallery. It's a really nice modern art gallery. You can see works from Picasso, Salvador Dali, really great. The light is falling fast. This is a really nice time of day to be out and about. All the lights are going to come on. It'll be very atmospheric and festive. So just off to your right hand side, you can see this building all lit up. This is the old site of the City of London School. It's an office block now, but it used to be a famous private school. Lots of famous ex-students went here, including Daniel Radcliffe, the actor who plays Harry Potter. Right, off to your left-hand side, you can see the River Thames, looking particularly uninviting this evening. I would not fancy a swim, I don't know about the rest of you. It's actually the cleanest metropolitan river in the world though. Loads of bridges, you can see them all up and down. But until fairly recently there was only one bridge across the River Thames, and that was London Bridge. Apart from that, the best way to cross the river was by ferry. So there'd be lots of water ferrymen on each side, giving people little boat rides across. So if you do take a boat ride, that's the traditional way to see London. This bridge, Waterloo Bridge, is known as the Ladies' Bridge. It's got quite a special name because it was built by women in World War II. When the men were away fighting, and it was the only bridge in London's history to be completed on time and under budget, which take of that what you will. The South Bank is looking particularly lovely tonight. All of the lights on the opposite side of the river. This is the Arts and Culture Centre of the city. You've got the Royal Festival Hall, which is a classical music venue, the National Theatre for Performing Arts, and the South Bank Centre for art. So loads and loads of things to check out. The South Bank is amazing. I tell everyone this, go see the South Bank. They've got lovely market stalls. Would very much recommend it if you've got any more time here in London. This was put in for the millennium in the year 2000, but kept on because of how popular it was with tourists. It takes half an hour to go all the way around the eye, and it's very popular with proposals. We get about 200 proposals a year on the London Eye. The only thing is you've got to make sure your partner's going to say yes, because it's quite an awkward ride down otherwise. The seat of government in the UK, where the Prime Minister Rishi Sunak works, and the elected politicians, known as MPs. The tower itself is called the Elizabeth Tower. Big Ben is the name of the clock inside, or the bell inside rather. The bell is quite interesting. It was cast in the same foundry in Whitechapel as the Liberty Bell in Philadelphia in the United States. And also the statue of Sir Winston Churchill. It's this man with the big overcoat, just on the right, the bald head, the stick. He's facing the House of Commons, which is the site of many of his famous speeches.